AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Matt Moscona, feel like coming home today, man. I could not be more excited to be here on the parade grounds here at LSU. I love coming back to campus, a place where I spent a lot of years, like many of you did. And we're here for a really special reason, as you well know, as you should well know by now, as we've talked about. We're here for Team Cate. Kate Hargett is an 11-year-old girl who needs a bone marrow transplant to save her life. And so we're here to encourage people to come. Simple cheek swab. The primary candidate for a bone marrow donation would be 18 to 35 years old, which is why, naturally, we're at a college campus, a lot of younger people. But that does not preclude you, so please stop by if you can. We're right in front of the Union. If you can't, we have all the info on our website about how you can get a swab kit sent to you, and so you can participate. So we'll be talking about that plenty throughout the show. I also understand, massive day. The NFL Draft is here. LSU had their final media availability for spring, so we have a ton to do, so let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, y'all, NFL Draft Day 1 is here. A self-described draft nerd am I. I love the draft. I love everything about the draft. I love how silly it can be, the trades, how big of a deal we make of things where most of these players probably won't amount to anything. A lot of them won't even make the teams that draft them. But you can also make over your franchise. I mean, this is how you build your organization. Think about where the Saints were a year ago. Despair, the emperor of empty yards, Derek Carr, just dragging this organization into the depths of football hell. And then you use a second-round pick on Tyler Shuck. You appear to have hit, and now all of a sudden we have reason for optimism surrounding this team and this franchise moving forward. That is the great part of the NFL Draft. It gives everyone hope that you are one Joe Burrow at the first pick or one Mr. Irrelevant in the final pick from being potentially a team that can be a contender in the Super Bowl. So, yes, I love the draft, and I'm excited about it. So we are naturally keeping a very close eye on all of the news as it transpires today involving the New Orleans Saints, a lot of the rumors, reports surrounding New Orleans. For what it's worth, there are two things I think that are primarily relevant. First and foremost, Ian Rappaport earlier today, this was Thursday on the NFL Network. Rappaport mentioned the Saints as a team that could be one to keep an eye on as far as moving up in round one.
The potential of number 3, yes. I do expect Jeremiah Love to be in play there at number 3. But, Tom, the Arizona Cardinals and then probably the Tennessee Titans after them as well face a couple fascinating decisions because if Arvell Reese is there, I would expect him to garner significant trade interest from other teams in the top 10. The New Orleans Saints and Mickey Loomis have traded up plenty of times over the last decade. They've never met a big-time player they didn't at least consider trading up for. You'd wonder, considering they need an edge, Cam Jordan not signed, would they be a potential team? And then the Kansas City Chiefs also looking for players on the edge. Could they be a team that looks to come up to 3 or 4 for an edge rusher? That is going to be one of the biggest pressure points very early in this draft.
So it is widely assumed that David Bailey is going to be the second pick of the draft to the Jets. We know Fernando Mendoza will go number 1 overall to the Raiders. The draft will really start at number 2 with the Jets. If it is David Bailey, then it's okay. Pay attention for the Saints and anyone that might be interested in moving up for Arvell Reese, the other elite edge rusher, or the other name that's kind of been bandied about a little bit here is the Saints and others potentially moving up to 3 if there is interest in drafting Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. Now, you know very well where I stand on this. I would puke in my mouth and I would come here tomorrow and have the most epic rant ever if the New Orleans Saints just spent $54 million to sign Travis Etienne and then they're going to go into the draft and move up to take another running back. I might disavow my Saints fandom in that moment if the Saints decided to do that in this draft. It would be a horrific mistake. I don't care how much you think Jeremiah Love is a dynamic running back or a great player. You are more than a running back away. You don't draft a running back in the top 10. I don't care who the running back is. That would be an absolute atrocity. I'll be on the record with that. And if we're sitting here tomorrow, not here, I'll be at Zurich tomorrow doing the show from 17. But if we're sitting here on Friday talking about this and the Saints have made a trade up to take Jeremiah Love, I will be absolutely incensed. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully the Saints stand pat. Now, Jordan Schultz also noted in his pre-draft notes, the top one is the high trade-up team many are eyeing is the Saints at number 8. So one of the things that I'll tell you, and we've talked about the Saints and possible trade-up scenarios, I am okay with the Saints trading up in this draft because they have 8 selections, and as we've gone through this before, they may not have 8 roster spots for 8 draft picks. So if you can package picks and take 5 that you think are going to make your team instead of 8, okay. What I don't like is the idea of giving up your early draft capital because you can get, in theory, starters at 8 and 42, and maybe even with your 3rd round pick you hit a year ago. So you talk about guys like Quincy Riley. You have an opportunity. I mean, Alvin Kamara was a 3rd round pick. Trey Hendrickson was a 3rd round pick. So you can find starters in round 3. I would not want the Saints to use their early draft capital to trade up. I would want them to make those picks in hopes of getting starting caliber players because the consensus among scouts in this draft is that the value, the depth is in rounds 2, 3, 4, right there in the middle of the draft. Maybe not the top end depth that you might see in other drafts, but that sort of middle tier of the draft. So you could, in theory, get great value there, and hopefully they do. Now, there's a lot, the betting odds today as we've been following this. Of course, we had Johnny Avello, the head odds maker for DraftKings, on the show a day ago, and he was going through a lot of the what-ifs and the scenarios for New Orleans and at the top of the draft. As it stands right now, as we're 4 hours or so away from the start of the draft, like at this very moment, the New Orleans Saints, when you look at the betting favorites for the Saints at 8, as of this very moment, Jordan Tyson, the receiver from Arizona State, is plus 210 to be the 8th pick in the draft. That, of course, would be to the New Orleans Saints. The second best odds, Mansour Delane at plus 425. If you're not familiar with how betting works, that means if you bet $100 and the pick is Tyson, you'd win 210. If you bet $100 on Delane and he were the pick, you'd win 425. So do they go receiver? Do they go defense? We'll all see in time. Lots of analysts have done sort of their mock draft, their final mock drafts. If you look at this mock draft roundup, 4 ESPN analysts, Matt Miller has Carnell Tate, Mel Kiper says Ruben Bain, Jordan Reed says Mansour Delane, Phil Yates says Jordan Tyson. So 4 different ESPN analysts, all 4 picked a different player for New Orleans at 8 overall. At CBS, 4 analysts, Prisco and Mike Renner say Carnell Tate. Josh Edwards, who's going to be here in about an hour, and Jonathan Jones say Ruben Bain, although Jones has the Saints trading back to 12 to take Ruben Bain. And I think in that instance, Jonathan Jones might be high because the idea of Mickey Loomis trading back is really laughable. You see a lot of the familiar names. Albert Breer says Mansour Delane. Luke Easterling from Athlon, Mansour Delane. USA Today's mock drafts is Jordan Tyson. From NFL Media, Lance Zerline says Jordan Tyson. Daniel Jeremiah says they go up to 3 and take Arvell Reese. That's the big swing. Bucky Brooks says Ruben Bain. So again, across many different media outlets, there is no real consensus with the New Orleans Saints. You see Bain, Tate, Tyson, Delane, some trade up, some trade back. It's going to be fascinating to watch what happens today as it unfolds with the New Orleans Saints with the 8th pick. And, of course, we'll be following it here throughout the show if there's any movement before the start of the draft. All right, it is After Further Review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU, and the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. So you're going to be watching the Saints hopefully draft their next Hall of Famer tonight. Make sure you do so with plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review presented by Decision Critical. We're here at the LSU Parade Grounds, fired up to be here on a beautiful day. We're here for Team Cate, so come on by and see us. We're literally right. It's like the drive right in front of the Student Union from Memorial Tower that comes right here across from Veterans, the crosswalk. I mean, you cannot, if you know where the Union is, we are right in front of the Union on the parade grounds. Everyone who comes and gets swabbed gets a free cone of ice, so come hang out if you can. 18 to 35, those are the prime ages we're looking for people to come get swabbed to see if you might be a match to help save 11-year-old Cate Hargett. We're fired up to be here. So we'll talk plenty about that, and we'll have a lot of info on that throughout the day for you. But we always do catch up with Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball to preview the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference, including LSU's trip to Mississippi State. We'll talk to Kendall when we come back here. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Goodwood. Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Hey, remember, we tell you so much about all the many different types of treatments they offer, including peptides. Peptides are something that I take. It can be life-changing. Highly recommend you take the time to educate yourself. Go meet with Gabe, any of the great specialists over at Goodwood, and learn what's available. You know, maybe it's peptides for brain fog, mental clarity. Maybe it's growth hormone peptides. Maybe it's BPC 157, which I've told you about before, incredible for muscle and tissue repair and to accelerate healing. There's anxiety. If you want a non-pharmaceutical option, they exist, they work. Learn more. yourgoodwood.com for Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness on Drusilla in Baton Rouge, and always online at yourgoodwood.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Rolling along here from the LSU Parade Grounds, all in support of Team Cate. Cate Hargett, 11-year-old, in need of a bone marrow transplant. It's a swab event, so come on by. It takes 30 seconds. Swab your cheek, get a free cone of ice, and hopefully help save Cate Hargett's life. That's why we're here. It's an awesome cause. She's such a sweetheart. Cate, her whole family, they're here today, and we're excited to be as well. Maybe not quite as excited to watch LSU baseball this weekend, but we're going to watch, regrettably. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, good enough to hang out with us as he does every Thursday, preview the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference. What up, dude?
Oh, not much. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a more depressing weekend of watching LSU in a very long time than last weekend.
Hey, what was more surprising to you, Kendall? Was it or so far, has it been the relative offensive ineptitude or the inability to pitch it effectively?
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like it's the offense. If you look back to the series against A&M, two of those games, I wouldn't say LSU pitched amazing, but I feel like in two of those games, the pitching staff gave them a chance to at least be in the game. And I just felt like offensively, I can't remember if it was the series opener or the second game of the series. I remember it was about the fourth inning. A&M, I think, was up 4-0. LSU gets a guy on I want to say it was a 5-pitch walk. The next batter, it's like strike, punch out, double play, inning over. And I just felt like that right there was pretty much the entire weekend for LSU. I was telling somebody this today. I don't remember watching LSU in the box. Number one, play in the box where it's that lifeless. And I don't blame LSU fans at all. I'm not bagging on LSU fans. I'm bagging on the team not energizing that crowd at all. The other thing for me that stuck out is I can't remember, and I don't know if you felt the same way watching that series, but I can't remember the last time I watched LSU in a 3-game series where I didn't feel like they had any chance in hell to win. There was not an inning in that game where I'm like, oh, this is where LSU is going to score 5 runs. They're going to take the lead, and they're going to run away with this thing. I never thought that in the series, and that's alarming to me.
They never led in 3 games.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
stunning to think. And now that's the insult to injury. The injury, of course, is that Cooper Moore and Jake Brown are done for the season. Just give me your overview there, Kendall, of the absence of those two and what it means for the next month.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations to where at this point, like, it's weird to say with LSU, but I mean, they are at this point playing with house money. Like, nobody expects them to get in the tournament anymore. Like, everybody expects their season to be over at the end of Hoover. So now it's like, if you're LSU, like, at this point, what do you have to lose? And so what I would like to see this team to do, and honestly, it kind of starts with Jay a little bit. Like, I know he said some very pointed things over the weekend, which he made some good points. I don't know if I'm saying that on April 17th, but I think he had some really good points. But I think now, as you go to Mississippi State this weekend, like, if you're LSU, again, you have nothing to lose. Mississippi State is trying to get back in the hosting mix. They're at home. Everybody thinks they're going to, I wouldn't say smoke, but everybody thinks they're going to beat LSU. So the pressure is on Mississippi State. So I'm curious now that the players know that Jay Brown's out. They know that nobody expects him to win. Do all of a sudden they play a lot better? I'm not going to say they're going to make some big run, but do they play a little bit more loose? I thought LSU looked very tight over the weekend, where A&M looked like the team that LSU typically is.
Yeah, that's a good comp. At Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball is where you can find him. So the Tigers go to Starkville to take on Mississippi State, and this is a state team that scuffled a bit, maybe found their footing. Tough place to play always, Super Bulldog weekend. Is there a spot in this series this weekend where you look at LSU and, okay, well, maybe the Tigers might have a pulse or an advantage against this state team?
Yeah, I do think Mississippi State, when you look at them overall, I think they're having some time this year where you can't hit them a little bit. I know over the weekend against South Carolina, their pitching was pretty good. But there have been a couple of series where they have been hit a little bit. So I think for me, I think if you're Jay Johnson, you start to get really creative offensively. You don't have one of your better hitters in the lineup. So kind of do what you can to move runners, create some momentum. And so that for me is just, the offense and can you just create things? That would be the one thing for me. Because I do think Mississippi State will score runs. And obviously it would be pretty important for LSU to score more than 2 runs a game this season.
Yeah. Kendall, you tell me if I'm wrong, or you just have a better perspective on this. I look at State and I go, okay, I saw like where some projections that have this entire rotation from State as potential first rounders next year, but maybe not necessarily the depth offensively. So it feels like maybe LSU's pitching staff has a chance if they pitch it well to keep them in it. I mean, does it feel like that plays a little bit?
Yeah, it can. I mean, if you look at their numbers, kind of in conference play, I mean, there are some pretty familiar names that aren't really doing much. I mean, Ryder Woodson in conference play is hitting 240. Reed Stallman hitting 230. If you look at, Ace Reese, he hasn't not been very good in conference play. He's hitting 216 in SEC play. So, yeah, I do think if LSU pitches well, I think they can keep the series close. I think the other thing for me is they got to catch better. I mean, there were times over the weekend, and again, he's a young player, so I'm not trying to rag on him. But, like, there were a couple of times over the weekend where, like, Cerna framed a perfect pitch, like, out of the zone. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, wait, hold on a second. He's framing a pitch right down the middle, like, inside. So, the pass balls, the wild pitches, or the pass balls that are scored wild pitches, the catching has to be better. It is really hard for a team to be really good if the catching is really bad.
Yeah. Tigers and Bulldogs, it's a Super Bulldog weekend in Starkville. It's going to be a madhouse there. It always is when LSU goes to Starkville. So we'll see if the Tigers have a little magic. Kendall, when we look quickly at the rest of the slate this weekend, is Georgia Ole Miss or is Oklahoma at Auburn? What's the headliner for you?
I think it's Georgia and Ole Miss. It feels like, Ole Miss, ever since that Mississippi State series, where they got swept at home has been a totally different team. Their offense has kind of gotten going a little bit. Cade Townsend's back from injury. Their pitching at the front of that rotation has been really good. So I think Ole Miss is top of mind. And then A&M in Florida is really interesting. We all know how well A&M's playing. Like, which Florida team shows up? You think LSU's frustrating. At least at this point, you kind of know what you're going to get. Florida, I mean, they may come out and get swept, or they may go out there and sweep and you just never know. Like, it just depends on whether or not Florida decides they want to play this weekend. So I think that is top of mind. And then, in terms of the at-large race, because, yes, LSU can still make a run here and get in the at-large race. If you're an LSU fan, as tough as it might be, you're rooting for Texas this weekend to sweep Vanderbilt. You do not want Vanderbilt to get in a position to where they can get in that large bid. If they do, the SEC is just not getting 14. So Vanderbilt would be that 13th team.
What about A&M on the road at Florida this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I kind of like A&M in it just because I think they're playing really well. I think if they pitch at all with how good their offense is, they can beat anybody. We kind of saw it against Texas. But again, Florida, for me, it just really depends on what kind of offensive production they can get. There have been weekends where Brendan Lawson, that offense has been rolling, and there have been weekends where they can't hit the broadside of a barn. So, it really just depends on what team shows up for Florida.
I mentioned it as well, but Oklahoma and Auburn, it feels like that's a team, a series where you got a couple teams lingering. I don't know what the ceiling is for those two teams, but they could certainly be playing postseason baseball at their ballparks. What do you see as maybe the key in that series with the Sooners on the Plains?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for OU, I think you guys kind of saw this the weekend they were in Baton Rouge, but can they manufacture enough run production on the road at Auburn? We've seen how much better Auburn's atmosphere has been this year. It's actually been a pretty tough place to play. Auburn's won 3 straight series. Their pitching at the front of the rotation has been good. Mason McCrane offensively has been really good. So for me, it's can Reggie Willett's offense kind of get things going there? Auburn in a really good spot to host right now. Oklahoma, I think we had as this year they ranked the 32 seeds. I think we had Oklahoma as the 20th seed. So OU, they go on the road this weekend and take a series from Auburn. They could be right back in that top 6 team mix. So a lot to play for the Sooners this weekend. And again, can they manufacture enough offensively to kind of keep up with AU this weekend?
One more, Kendall. Take it outside the conference. So what are you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me as I look across the conference is just the number of kind of bubble teams that are playing this weekend. You got, Pittsburgh, hosting Virginia, bubble team. Texas State at Coastal Carolina. Again, if you're an LSU fan, you're watching all these pretty closely. Texas State at Coastal Carolina, that's a big one for Texas State if they lose that series. I think they're in a really tough spot from that large standpoint. And then, Wake Forest and Georgia Tech is top of mind. And outside of that, in terms of bubble, I would keep an eye on Purdue and USC. The classic West Coast rivalry, Purdue versus USC. But Purdue right now would be in the field of 64, which is kind of surprising. And USC, of course, with an RPI of 15. So keep an eye on that one.
He is Kendall Rogers from D1Baseball.com. Get him at Kendall Rogers. Good enough to hang out with us here every Thursday, preview the weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference of College Baseball. Thanks, man. We always appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You do the same, man. We appreciate it. There it is. My apologies. I pushed the wrong button. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Always love telling you about our friends over at the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson, his staff, awesome people. As I say every day, you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever. The Williamson Eye Center can make that happen. All you have to do is set up that consultation and go meet with Dr. Blake. 924-2020, 924-2020. Call him right now. 924-2020. It's easy. There's no obligation. It doesn't cost you anything. Literally just seeing, is this something, as you get more information, that interests you? The opportunity to be rid of contacts and glasses forever. To be able to wake up in the morning and see, not have to remember to take your contacts out at night, remember to update your prescription, or find the readers that you sometimes leave on your head or your shirt or your pocket or wherever in your car. What if you never had to fool with that ever again? The Williamson Eye Center can make that happen. So call Dr. Blake at 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're here at the parade grounds out at LSU for the Team Cate swab event. We've been telling you about it for several weeks now, and the day is here, and we're excited. It's pretty, turnout's been awesome. They've already had more than 400 people come out and get swabbed here at LSU. In conjunction with our friends at Our Lady of the Lake. They had an event at Fran U. I believe there's an event today or maybe tomorrow at the lake as well. But you get all the info. We have it at our website at 1045ESPN.com if you want to get more. We got links on our social media as well. If you can't make it here, but you want to participate, you want to get swabbed to see if you might be a match to join the registry, you can do so. All you have to do is go to the link on our website. It'll take you right there, 1045ESPN.com. It's on our social media as well. So we appreciate it so much. And we'll see if Jenny and Cate can pop on with us a bit later. We'll have a lot of great guests that we're looking forward to, including LSU gymnast Ashley Cowan, who just jumped over here, and she's going to join us here in just a quick second as we come back from break. So stay with us here. It is a Thursday edition of AFR. We're presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. So stick around with us on a Thursday edition of AFR live from the excuse me, wind just got me live from the parade grounds on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
AFR.
Love to tell you about our friends over at Du Pools. If you were thinking of putting in that pool at your house, Derek Duplessis and our friends at Duplessis Pools, that's who you want to call. They can do a gorgeous custom pool for you over at Duplessis Pools. But the thing that really sets Duplessis Pools apart is their workmanship. There's a lot of companies that'll build you a beautiful pool. Go look at Instagram. They're everywhere. But the difference is Derek, with his engineering background, never skips steps and stands behind his work. The industry standard workmanship warranty is 1 year. At Duplessis Pools, they offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty. They warranty their work for a decade. It's Duplessis Pools. Check them out online. Start that process today. The website is duplessisbuilders.net. Online, duplessisbuilders.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Rolling along here, Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. We're here today at the LSU Parade Grounds for the Team Cate swab event. We're doing this in conjunction with our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, of course, great partners of ours, and they're also the championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Bridget, you need to move a little to your right because you're in front of the camera. No, like there's a camera right there. Ashley Cowan, LSU Gymnast, good enough to join us here on site. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. So Ashley is one of the LSU athletes with Our Lady of the Lake. We actually had an opportunity for the Vanderbilt game up in Nashville, the football game earlier this year, to chat with Lexi and with Kaylin. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
How did you think their picks went? How'd they do?
I feel like they did pretty good.
Yeah, they did a solid job. Yeah. I told Jay Clark that he got good karma from the show, so that he could thank me for having them on the show, because obviously Kaylin went and had like the greatest individual season ever, right? So it's all we get all the credit for that.
Right.
At least 96% of the credit of that. Not as much. So obviously this past weekend, national championship finals was incredible, so close. I would imagine for you all, everybody's seen Jay's comments, it's probably a weird emotional balance, right, where you're so close, you're the national runner-up, which is amazing, but you're also so close to being the national champion. So how do you feel coming off the national championship meet and the season ending?
I think a lot of it, I'm just proud of the girls. I mean, we had a really tough season, had to work through a lot of adversity just with injuries, just within the team. And so I'm just proud of us for really pulling it out. We had a little bit of an interesting semifinal, and so to be able to come into the finals and just really lay it out there and do something that we're proud of and represent LSU well was huge.
The semis were a little nerve-wracking watching it. I didn't love that it started at 3 o'clock while I'm on the air, so I'm like, on air doing the show, trying to follow this, going like, please don't let this happen. I mean, was there a point though where you all felt? I know everyone's heard the story now with Kaylin sort of rallying everyone together. What was her message from your perspective?
So a lot of it during the semis, it kind of creeps in as you like go through those kinds of performances. It becomes so emotional, right? Because you're just in your postseason, you want to do well, you want to advance, and so you start having these feelings of like, oh, like, we are really getting close here. We have to make a move in order to advance. And so we always have a team huddle after every event, and after that event, we had huddled up, we had said a couple of things, and Kay really had it on her chest to just say what she had to say and put it out there. She told me that she was going to regret it if she didn't say what she did to the team. And so she really just brought us back to the moment and reminded us of why we were there, what we needed to do, and just kept us where our feet were, where a bunch of our brains had kind of gone crazy because we didn't really know how the meet was going to end. And so she grounded us and got us ready to go and kill it on floor.
Well, you leave LSU as a national champion, as a national runner-up. I mean, it's pretty amazing, right? I mean, like when you think, have you had time to process your career yet?
I think I have a little bit. I think every year you kind of take a mental audit, depending on like how much of a thinker you are. But I spend a lot of my time in my brain just kind of like just being grateful. I mean, the experiences you get at LSU are truly like no other school, and it's such an awesome time to just make history with the program. To be the first group of national champions LSU has had as gymnasts has been really cool. But yeah, I think it's going to take a couple years maybe to set all of that set in. But it's been awesome just to have a little bit of everything with this team.
You said like how you think and how you process. I think she thinks a lot. She's pre-med at Just Learn, by the way. And you're taking the MCATs when, tomorrow?
On Saturday.
So you're just your classic just underachiever, basically. A national champion gymnast and going to go, is pre-med and going to be a doctor and make us all look really bad. I talk on the radio, so you have that going for you. No, so have you thought about what type of medicine you want to practice?
I feel like everybody's told me kind of to go in with an open mind to medical school, so that's the big approach right now. I have some interest in, orthopedics, cardiology, but we'll really just see where it takes me.
Yeah, it's well, good luck on the MCATs. That's going to be. I'm sure you'll do fine. I mean, clearly you're brilliant. It's so unfair, but I'm very pumped for you. But you're here today. We're here for an awesome thing, right? I mean, you're in partnership with the Lake. We're in partnership with the Lake as well, and love that they'll wrap their arms around events like this. So, how did you become aware of Team Cate and what's going on here?
Well, I have honestly been reached out to by a bunch of students in the past 24 hours about it. I've seen it a little bit everywhere on social media, but also the Lake had reached out to me, kind of told me what was going on. And it's just such an awesome cause for just such a special person. Yeah. So it's been really cool.
Did you get to meet Cate yet?
I haven't.
Yeah, she's bebopping around. Yeah, there she is. Like she's in the pink shirt over there with her back. She's petting the dog. I mean, Ashley, you get it. It's like she's a little girl. I mean, she's 11 years old, and she's like so brave in the way that she's facing what she's facing, and she's got such a great energy and spirit about her. And I would love nothing more than like to have someone here today come and get swabbed and find her match. I mean, it would be incredible if this event produces that for their family. Are amazing. Do things like this, I don't know if inspire you is the right word, but, you're going into medicine, obviously, for a reason. So what was that push for you?
I mean, it's truly inspiring just to see somebody so young, but yet so full of joy. I mean, we've seen her running out in the field out there. Yeah. And still, right, and just with so much hope, I think, for the future. And so having an impact on anybody's life. I mean, we've had that with gymnastics. I get a awesome opportunity to do that. But just as anybody, like walking down the street, you can make an impact just by getting your cheeks swabbed and getting into the database. Yeah,
as Ashley said, and Ashley Cowan's with us, we're here today encouraging people between 18 and 35 to come here to the parade grounds right in front of the Union, get a cheek swab. It's like 30 seconds. I mean, it's nothing to get your cheek swabbed. Between 18 and 35 years old is sort of the target. And we're trying to find a match for Cate. She needs a life-saving bone marrow transplant. So we're sincerely hopeful that today produces that result that I know the Hargets are praying for, and so many of us are as well. And so we appreciate LSU for having us, Our Lady of the Lake, and everyone that's come together to put this together. I mean, I think there are already close to 500 people that have swabbed right here alone already, and they'll be back tomorrow if you can't make it today, or if you can't make it here, they can send you a swab kit. We have the info on our website at 1045ESPN.com, 1045ESPN.com, or on all of our social media. So there's plenty of ways you can get that info if you want to get a swab kit sent to you. Okay, how are they going to be next year?
I have no doubt that they're going to be just as extraordinary as this year.
Okay. Who do we need to be on the lookout for? Who is an ascending youngster that we think in the future is going to be a major impact contributor?
I mean, honestly,
I know you're going to say all of them, but I know, right? I know what you're going to say. Oh, they're all great. I know they're all great. You don't get to be a gymnast at LSU if you're not great. But like, I remember talking to Jay last year. It was like he would talk about Kaylin and just about how much of an explosive athlete that she is. You could tell like there was a little something different there. Like, or maybe someone on an individual event that you think really catches your eye.
Good question. I think Zoe Miller is going to be unstoppable if she can get just her body functioning and working and all of her gymnastics back. I think it's going to be really cool to see her go. And honestly, just all of the girls that you've seen this year in lineups, just getting to see them excel, maybe touch more equipment that they haven't had before. Trying to think of who else.
That's a good answer. No, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, some of our freshmen from this year are, fighting to get into more spots, so it'll be cool.
I had one more thing and I forgot it. It completely just went away from my brain. So I'll let you go, and I thank you so much for hanging out with us here and for obviously being a great representative of LSU for your entire career and for helping promote the Team Cate swab event today. It's awesome. So hopefully it's an awesome day. Good luck on the MCATs.
Thank you.
If you want to just slip me some IQ points, I'd appreciate it. Ashley Cowan. Oh no, that was okay. Because you said it like about Zoe getting her body right. How many injuries have you had in your gymnastics career?
I've been fortunate to not have too many crazy ones. I've had only like 2 surgeries, and they were like very minimal procedures.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gymnastics is a brutal sport on the body. I mean, it's like I was watching the finals last week, and just like how many of you are like taped and kinesio taped and just like I'm like held together with it's like every part of your body that's exposed has kinesio tape on. I'm like, man, they need a few months of just doing nothing and healing by this point.
Yeah.
She's Ashley Cowan. Thanks so much for the time. It's our pleasure. All right, we're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back here and wrap up hour number 1 from the LSU Parade Grounds. We're at the Team Cate swab event. Our Thursday shows, as always, are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Don't you move.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, Gordon always finds ways to give back to the communities he serves. Right now, very fitting that we're on LSU's campus. If you are or know of a graduating high school senior in Louisiana, Gordon is giving away 15 laptops, MacBooks to graduating seniors. All you have to do is go to gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com to learn how to enter. Now, the caveat is you have to be going to a 2 or 4-year school or a trade school. So if you're a graduating Louisiana high school senior, going to a 2 or 4-year college or a trade school, go to gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com. That's how you can enter to win one of these 15 laptops or MacBooks. It's another way that Gordon gives back to Louisianians all across the state that he serves. So gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Rolling along here on a Thursday edition of AFR. We're live at the LSU Parade Grounds on a beautiful afternoon. A little cloudy now, but come on by if you can. We're here for the Team Cate swab event. We're going to be mentioning it all day. We are, of course, counting down to the NFL draft. So we have a ton to do as we count down to the NFL draft and kind of keeping our eyes on all the news that's percolating. Dr. Nikhil Saba is going to be with us from Our Lady of the Lake in about 15 minutes from right now. Tell us more about young Kate Hargett's diagnosis. Josh Edwards, CBS Sports NFL draft analyst, will be here in about 25 minutes from right now. Get the absolute latest there. We have a ton to do. Greg Sankey is now weighed in after our conversation yesterday where it seemed as though a lot of people were getting on board with a 24-team playoff. Greg Sankey now has sort of reaffirmed his belief in a 16-team playoff. So we'll get to all that. So we have a ton to do. Also, the LSU football team, it goes to show you what kind of day this is. Just so much going on. The LSU football team had its final practice with media availability. So I still have to get to my practice report from today as well. Tell you what we saw in Lane Kiffin's 14th practice of spring. So, and here's a hint. the offense did really well again, which is so encouraging to see the offense continue to build how it has. Okay, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Since we're on remote, Muso will knock out a quick around the SEC.
Bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama and Kalen DeBoer, they've reached contract extension. New 7-year deal announced Wednesday will pay him $12.5 million per season. Agreement was already approved by Alabama's System of Compensation Committee in a virtual meeting. Deal expires on January 31st, 2033. Buyout $10 million through 2027 will decrease $2 million each over the next 2 years. DeBoer's 20-8 over 2 seasons at Alabama.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart is now foregoing his $1 million retirement gig amid criticism. This comes just days after the state's governor criticized the move and the Kentucky Athletic Department. Earlier this year, it was announced that Barnhart would retire on June 30th and then take the deal as executive in residence for UK Sports and Workforce Initiative. Thursday, it was announced he would no longer accept the role, but he will step away as planned on June the 30th.
The Florida Gators.
Todd Golden has addressed speculation that he might move to the NBA this offseason, saying, quote, "I'm definitely planning on coaching the Gators," meaning in 2026, 2027. Makes sense. The majority of his team is back. Yahoo Sports' Kevin O'Connor recorded that Golden State could be interested in the Gators coach if Steve Kerr opts to leave the organization in this offseason, which has been speculated. Noted that if Golden leaves for an NBA job, his buyout is just $2 million.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma has landed transfer guard Pop Isaacs from Texas A&M on Wednesday evening. 4-star transfer prospect, number 25 point guard in the country, 6'2", 182-pounder. He has his last year of eligibility in Norman. Began his career at Texas Tech, transferred to Creighton, then to A&M, averaged 9 points and 3 assists, coming off a prior year's injury this past season in College Station.
The Texas Longhorns.
And then lastly, Texas has added point guard Mike Lewis out of the transfer portal. That's per Lewis's social media. Spent his first season over at St. Mary. He was all West Coast Conference honors a season ago, averaged 14 points and 3 boards. He arrives in 40 acres with 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. There you have it. That is around the SEC.
Brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com for Arco Power Systems, industrial Generac generator power. That's what we talk about every day when we talk about Arco Power Systems. So many people know, obviously, about home standby generators. That's not what Arco does. It's not a generator for your home. At Arco, it is industrial Generac generator power. So this is generators for your business, your industrial facility, for your government, municipalities, hospitals, schools, doctors' offices, gas stations, grocery stores, any type of commercial or industrial facility. You need generator power. When the power goes out, you need Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. All right, it is after further review. We're here on the parade grounds out at LSU for the Team Cate swab event. We are keeping an eye on a lot of the different news that's sort of percolating throughout the day here as we count down to the NFL draft. I thought it was interesting that we talk about it all the time because there's always speculation that runs rampant leading up to the draft, and then you don't know what is real and what might be a smokescreen. And we've looked at a lot of the draft odds. The over-under for quarterbacks taken in round 1 is 1.5. Obviously, we know Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first pick of the draft. So the question is, do we think Ty Simpson could go in round 1, or will he go in round 2? That's, is there a team late in round 1 that might pull the trigger on a quarterback? But Tom Pelissero has a report that apparently Carson Beck is a guy that's gaining a lot of steam late, and Pelissero noted, quote, "I would not 100% rule out the idea of Carson Beck somehow finding his way into the back of round 1. And it's interesting with Carson Beck because you're talking about a guy that at one point in his college career was a projected number 1 overall pick Not just a first round, but a guy that could have been a number 1 overall pick. And then you see how things play out. Now, he was thought after the 24 season to be sort of a mid, day 2 guy probably. He transfers to Miami, and they go to the national championship. He's still a day 2 guy. Well, it's because as a prospect, he hasn't changed. He's the same size, same arm strength, same everything. You didn't necessarily have a dramatic improvement. It's what he is. It's just, is there a team that has fallen in love with Carson Beck? The quarterbacks are always fascinating. Remember, a year ago at this point, we were having a conversation, might the Saints use their first-round pick on Shedeur Sanders? Like, that was a very real conversation. Was Shedeur Sanders going to be a top 10 pick last year? He dropped in around 5. Malik Willis was a guy that had a lot of first-round draft. He dropped in around 3. The quarterbacks always tend to be the most unpredictable position in the NFL draft because it is the most important position in organized team sports. So we'll keep an eye on that, but Tom Pelissero saying keep an eye on Carson Beck as a guy who's maybe getting some first-round love here as we get close to the draft. Okay, Sports Center is coming up, hour 2 next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So the office for Relief Windows is on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're going south on Airline, you pass Highway 42, a quarter mile on the right, you'll see Relief Windows. And I always recommend you go into the office because it's awesome. The same designer that did LSU's football ops building designed the Relief Windows headquarters. So that's really cool, number 1. But you can always go online. ReliefWindows.com, and the website is so user-friendly, and you could see beautiful pictures and 3D imagery and all different types of stuff of all the different products that they offer. But the most important thing to remind you about Relief Windows is that, yes, it's windows, doors, siding, shutter, shades. It's all the things that's going to beautify the exterior of your home, lower your energy bills, increase your resale value, all the things I talk about all the time. But with Relief Windows, it's about the customer service experience. There's just nobody better. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Check them out online, ReliefWindows.com.